So hello friends, and welcome to this quiet paint time. And I'm glad that you're here with me today. This lesson's going to be slower, more relaxed. Sorry, a squirrel caught my attention. More relaxed extension of the winter washes that we've been exploring on YouTube. This is just more time, more water, and more room to breathe. So settle in, grab your favorite colors and supplies, and let's paint with no pressure. So I was getting out my paper to do the wash today, but this was what we worked on YouTube the other day, and it's dry now, and I really wanted to point out that when we were mixing this variegated and how it was looking a little bit muddy color, especially here where the yellow and the blue were mixing, because yellow and blue make green. Now that it's dry, it actually is pretty interesting. So I don't know if you can see that. So I guess the lesson learned there would be sometimes when we think that it's not going how we planned, to step back, let the paint do what paint's going to do, and come back to it after it's dry, because this looks really cool actually. And I was just noticing that we got a little bit of not backflow, but it's not really like a bloom, but the where this was wet on wet, the color that had settled here dried a little bit darker. So this will be like a preview of kind of like how I like to work and how we're going to be working later on. But I would just come in and make that like a tree line, maybe, you know, something like that. And that's great. I think that's a lot of fun. So this yellow doesn't tend to move around a lot. Hold on, let me get up here. The tripod is very limiting. So this one was the wet on dry, and the colors kind of stayed where we put them. And yellow doesn't really move a lot, typically. On its own. It has to be coaxed, but we did pretty wet here. So, but it still is really cool looking. And I love this actually looks like maybe a little light cloud here. And so anyway, I just thought that was really interesting. And in how I work, I paint more intuitively. I do use reference photos, but more for suggestion and maybe color palettes. But anyway, we'll be working in those concepts further along, but I just thought that you guys would enjoy seeing how the paper dried. Today isn't about finishing a painting or even making something perfect. It's about learning how watercolors behave on wet paper and letting ourselves enjoy the process. You need to pause, stretch, or just watch for a bit. That's completely okay. For this lesson, we're going to be using our watercolor paper. It's the B paper company. I've been using a pretty standard throughout these series. A large brush. I'm going to be probably using my famous cheap brush. This is a 8 round, and this is a 22 flat. Clean water and a limited palette, but you don't have to use the same colors that I do. That doesn't really matter. What matters most is the water control. So we'll just tape the paper to our, these are like canvas boards. Just bought at the dollar store. They're 100% cotton canvas, and they're good for oils and acrylics. It doesn't say watercolor, but I kept the plastic on them for now. This isn't what I had gotten them for. I got them for Christmas, actually, but I thought, oh, it's the same size, and I wanted to be able to, you know, we're going to be able to pick it up and move this around, so I needed to tape it to something. So let's get this taped down. I'll do it this way first, I guess. Doesn't matter how, whoops, wide. Here, I'll do it off camera because I keep banging the tripod. All right, and we got it all taped to our canvas board, and let's begin. I'm going to work, I thought I was going to do wet on wet, but I really like to work wet on dry. Wet meaning my brush is wet with the paint and the paper being dry. So I do need to wet my bristles a little bit to get them flexible here because they are a bit dry. And also I find this really interesting. The colors that we'd been mixing in our swatches are starting to find each other and create some really pretty mixes on their own. You know, palette mud or palette dirt, right? That's kind of fun. So let's see what we can. I'm going to use some of that paint up. That's one reason why I like. Maybe we'll get some more paint. As a think winter sky. So these are like the washes that we did, right? We have the paint going down, and then it's puddling down here at the bottom where it's beading, and we can just, you know, kind of encourage it to keep going. This is a lot more controlled. Ooh, that's a pretty color. Just going in and painting around where there might be some clouds. So negative painting in our washes. That's also fun. And also in perspective, you know, your sky's going to come in from the corners and, you know, either this way, or I guess we're doing it towards the middle. Let's see. That has a little bit of orange in it, so maybe we'll have some winter sunset. I like to see what the colors I have on my palette. That's kind of fun. And over here, it's a little bit dry, so we can come in here with more water. Coming in here with our spray bottle, that might be fun. Let's try that. Loosen up the paint and move it around. Just let the sky happen. So then that way we have, I like painting on dry paper and then just spraying it and doing the wet on wet at that point, because we have some, you know, hard edges and some soft edges, which is also nice. Just connecting some clouds. I don't know how far down I want the sky to come. let's see. It's dry down here, so it may not come down. Let's see if we wet it more. I don't want to move it off camera that you can't see. Connecting that cloud. You know, now I got two clouds here. I think I want it to be soft down here because this may eventually become a landscape painting. Let's see if we can come in here and darken up some of those. Let's use an ultramarine blue. Let's drop in some blue. Let's see what that does. I think I want to keep it gray and darker there because, again, I'm thinking, you know, in the future, I don't know what this study will be, but I might be able to come back to it. And it's already working out that maybe we'll have some sun here. And I don't know. Like I said, I work intuitively quite a bit, so I like to let the painting tell me what. Now we're doing that gradient wash that we did in the other day. Just winter skies are often, you know, feel calm and light. So we just want to let it breathe. I'm going to come in with my flat brush and just kind of get rid of it's dry. It's a dry. Get rid of the water drops. I want to see what we can do with that purple. All right. I don't want anything sharp. I don't want any details yet. We're not defining anything. So if you're, we're just going to take a moment and let it dry and see what happens. Because sometimes that's where the most learning happens. But if your painting doesn't look like mine, that's okay. Every wash is a record of the moment in time, your water, your hand, and your pace. That's what makes it yours. And of course, as the paper dries, see, it's not as shiny. There's like some spots that are shiny still, but it's lost its shine. So it's probably a good place to stop painting and then just let the painting fully dry, and then you can come back to it and re-wet it if you wanted to. Well, we come back and now it's dry. I was just looking out the studio window, and I think that I'm going to put some lighter blue down here because the sky's also doing that outside the window. So let's see how that plays out. Let's make a lighter blue, and I'm going to get some more water on my brush. There we go. When we come in here with our second layer, it's a less water, more paint. You know, each layer I think of, you know, I think of that. I think every time you come in, it's less and less water, more and more paint. All right. Yeah, I like that. That looks really nice. All right, let's see, while this is drying down here, if we can put a second layer on our clouds here. Maybe some of that blue. Cover up. We're not covering, just making these clouds not so stark white. Maybe something like that. That's nice. Maybe over here. Oh, that's too much. I don't mind it being blue, but I don't want it that blue. Okay, let's see. There we go. There, that's good. Like something like that. Let's see. Maybe here. Maybe we can come in and make some of these. Like something like that. The sun, if we have a sun, I think we will. I was placing one in with some watercolor pencils. And that will, these clouds will be lit on the bottom, but the shadows will be on the top, which I was trying to do. I like that. Maybe come in and emphasize here. There's a little blue in that. I mean, a little red in that blue paint that we're using. That's nice. Something like that. Yeah, like that. That's good. That's still wet, so let's let that dry. So I noticed that it's kind of patchy up here. Plus, I think I want it darker. So let's see if I can, oh, I got a purple mixture here. Maybe a purple. I'm not going to smooth it out. I want to make lines like that, maybe. In the sky. for my... emphasizing that curve, maybe. Let's see. I think I like that. All right, let's, I said we were gonna put a sun in. I think this is probably about the size of the sun I want. I was thinking it's really light there, but that's kind of in the middle. So maybe something like here. I'm just gonna take my watercolor pencil in a light blue color. Paper's still a little damp, but that's okay. I think it's gonna put it there. We'll get some masking fluid. Let me see if I can find a brush. All right, I found a brush I don't care anything about. So let's, I don't know that I've used this yet, but yet it seems gummy. Or is that normal? That doesn't make any sense. I've never used... Is that supposed to work like that? I have never used this before, so I can't tell you. And I just bought this too. All right, well, let's forget that. All right, we'll be careful of that. And let's get some yellow, maybe. And we're doing a bit of abstracting. Let's see. This is how I work. I think I'm going to leave a ring around the sun. Let's... I think I'm going to make it a little lighter. You don't have to be abstract if you don't want to, but I like working like this. And I think that there's going to be some trees over that way anyway. So there. Some winter wash skies. I like that. We'll keep building on this scene in this series. I was thinking that we could come in between here and maybe do some orange. I didn't think about that before. Let's see what I can get an orange color, especially this side. Let's see. That's nice. I like that. Let's see if we can get something over here. There we go. I like that. I like coming in and layering like that and, you know, abstracting and emphasizing, you know, the rays and stuff. It's a lot of fun. So if your painting looks different than mine, that's a good thing. Every wash records a moment in time. It's a reflection of our water, our hand, and the pace that we're working at. That's what makes it yours. I want to thank you for spending this quiet time with me, and your support here allows me to create slower, more thoughtful videos. And you take care and keep painting gently. And until next time, may your paints flow with peace.